All right. What morally justifies putting one in a gas chambers but not the other?
Who's putting animals in gas chambers?
I think it's like 90% of pigs are stunned in gas chambers.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but those pigs are being used to feed millions of people.
Okay, but we can feed everybody on plants, and in fact, it would be more efficient to do so.
That doesn't mean you should.
Why not?
You mean why not?
Huh? You say I know why not?
I said that doesn't mean we should.
I know, and I asked why shouldn't we?
Because just because there's a better option doesn't mean we have to take it.
You don't think that we should be looking back on our mistakes and improving ourselves as a species?
I never said
Isn't that the point of every rights movement?
Rights movement.
You don't know what a rights movement is? Like civil rights, women's rights, workers' rights, LGBTQ plus rights?
Animals deserve rights.
Yeah.
I think that's problematic and insane.
Why is that insane?
Well, because then you would have to somehow justify quadrillions of insects being unalived. Quadrillions.
Are you genuinely concerned about those crop deaths?
So now I'm genuinely concerned. I want you to justify why quadrillions of insects must die.
Yeah. So crop protection is akin to self-defense. So I'm protecting my food, and those insects on their own free volition are coming in and they get harmed because they're attacking my food source, which is basically attacking my life source.
Also, question, right? Is it because you can't rationalize with these insects, right?
No.
I do have a question. Do you have like any data showing like the amount of
Yeah, I do.
Quadrillions.
Is the number quadrillion? Like, is that the number?
Yeah, quadrillions.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I don't believe that's the number that a study would conclude. A quadrillion. That sounds like something a fifth grader would say.
It does.
It would be surprising. You guys actually saw the numbers, but I can show you the source when I'm done with this. Both your
But
DMs.
if you do care about insect population, I mean, you would still go plant-based because it takes significantly more crop usage and monocropping to raise all these animals that are being consumed.
There's still going to be the uses of pesticides.
I mean, ultimately, yes, but then it comes down, that's more of like a defense survival situation because we do have to feed mass populations of humans. So it's not, veganism isn't about anti-death and not harming anything ever. It's about doing as much as we can to reduce that harm and not exploit sentient beings.
So Lydia, I have a question for you, right? Do we unalive human beings that take food? Would you unalive a human being that takes food from you? Specifically a child or someone that has Down syndrome?
I mean, no, that's not like the ultimate thing, but it comes down to practicality.
Why?
You can remove a human from a crop, but hundreds of insects is a lot more difficult to go and hand pick and remove from a crop.
You can self-sufficient. You can grow your own homegrown vegetables.
But it sounds like a whataboutism when you're bringing up all these topics, because ethically, there's not really good justification for putting pigs in gas chambers.
You didn't answer my question. Why aren't you self-sufficiating? with homegrown vegetables.
You're just pivoting at this point. Like, we're trying to talk about the ethics of like using these animals when we don't have to. And now you're saying, am I going to unalive Down syndrome kids? Like, no, of course I'm not.
And I'm asking you why, right? Because you can't rationalize with them, right?
Because it's wrong to harm someone who is sentient and is having an individual experience.
They're not moral agents, though. So
moral patients should be respected. We're the moral agents, and we should be like protecting them, not exploiting them.
Okay, so why is it okay to harm insects, but not okay to harm these people?
I'm not cool with harming insects, but sometimes it does happen. Me driving down the road, I'm going to hit mosquitoes on my windshield. I can't, like, do you have a, like, good reason to, like, end that completely? Other than just, I got to sit in one location, I guess, never go anywhere.
You're the one that's giving them rights. I mean, I just want you to, this is the kind of questions you have to answer. You're giving them rights, right? You're just saying, oh, well, it just happens, right? But yet when it comes to people that aren't moral agents, such as children and people with Down syndrome, we find that it's extreme to unalive them, right? Because they're taking our food, even though we're quote unquote protecting ourselves. And we would go as practical as possible as to putting them into institutions and avoid unaliving them.
But the first thing wouldn't be to go unalive the kids and like the crop stealing from your garden. It would be calling someone to come get them. Like, hey, whose kids are these? Can you come get them? So yeah, no, like insects are a lot more difficult because it's an incredibly diverse like problem. But that being said, that doesn't mean plant agriculture can't evolve to eliminate completely the usage or harm of insects because we have alternative methods of growing crops. Technology is changing that. But there's no other way to go about unaliving pigs for like meat other than the current system that we're doing. Like there's no possible way to evolve that system to make no victims. Because they are the victims, they are the product.
Yeah, so in both cases, there's going to be victims.
Sply, the scenario you're giving of children or someone mentally handicapped attacking your food is that they're not in their natural state, living in the woods around your place where you're trying to raise your food. Insects are in their natural habitat doing their normal everyday routines, okay? And they come in and they're gonna eat your food. That's you protecting yourself. So it's okay to protect yourself. Let's say that this mentally handicapped person was attacking you. I would say that yes, you can defend yourself. Self-defense is fine.
No, attacking me, right? I would say it's depending on the proportional force. Now, if that person was attacking
but I just told you though that the children and the mentally handicapped person in your scenario don't naturally just occur around crops. They're not just constantly coming in for food. They're part of our societies, and to leave them out there would be extremely irresponsible. And I do agree that our plant agriculture should be improved, but vegans only make up 1% to 3% of the total population, and most plant farmers are not vegan. So it's cheap and easy to knee-jerk to violence and take out all the insects. I agree. It's sad that these insects actually have to experience the pain of a nervous system drug, and that probably could be very painful for them if they're experiencing that. And I do agree that's wrong, but I have to eat something. So I put my money where I can and know that the least harm has occurred. Animal products, 100% cause someone to feel harm. Insect harm, maybe it happened. It's not like when you if you look at crops, they don't have like this fog of bugs above them. There's not like you said your number is hilarious. You would literally just see clouds of bugs around the plants, and that's just crazy.
It would be a lot of them. Quadrillion would be in the total of the year, right? Over the course of the year.
So you can't even prove directly that bugs are harmed in the crop production. We only have assumption. There's no real studies on this. That's why we're laughing at you saying this number. We've researched this. So you're being silly and we're laughing at you.
And again, like I said, on a plant-based system, we would be using less monocrops and ultimately harming wildlife and insects versus what we're doing now.
I'm saying this. Are there still going to be victims in your diet?
Yes, but it's not about complete elimination of harm. It's about not exploiting someone. I'm not demanding bugs into existence to use them and force them to die in my crops. You are demanding animals be forced into existence to have their throat slit for your taste pleasure.
Is exploitation a form of harm?
It is a type of harm, but you're going to focus harm on pain, and that's not what it's all about.
Okay, what? Wait. Do you not feel pain? Do these animals don't feel pain when they're being exploited?
It doesn't matter if they feel pain. Stealing someone's freedom in general is immoral, period. Go ahead, Ozark.
Yeah, and people
Hey,
don't feel
Sly, dude, do you
pain?
mind if I ask you a question here?
Or go ahead.
Do you understand what intentions are?
I would say so, yes.
So do you believe that intentions are applicable to, the outcome and consequences of specific harm?
Yes.
So do you believe that if somebody were to just randomly hop in front of your car, you should be tried for first degree schmurder?
No.
Okay, so do you think that if somebody were to go out and then just purposely run into somebody because they felt like doing that, they should be tried for first degree schmurder?
Absolutely.
All right, so according to your own logic, there is a clear difference between going out and protecting your crops versus specifically breeding animals into existence just to harm them for no reason other than you want to.
Who's unaliving these animals for no reason? I already gave you the reason, right?
Are you consuming animals?
Well, there are millions of people.
Are
eating these
you
animals.
specifically consuming animals?
Yeah, I am.
Do you shop at a grocery store?
Sure.
So you have options to not do that. So you are unnecessarily paying for somebody to do that.
Unnecessary does not mean bad, though. I think that's a disconnect.
So you're sitting here and you're trying to rationalize that unnecessary isn't necessarily bad or good, but then you're also trying to turn the logic around that like self-defense is somehow bad.
I never said it was somehow
unaliving
bad.
animals for your pleasure.
I told you already. It depends on the proportional force, right? You can defend yourself.
So you agree with the escalation of force principle, then, right?
Yes.
So if somebody, using your example, a handicapped person breaks into your house and starts consuming your food, you would agree that it is possible to de-escalate that without necessarily harming them.
Absolutely.
All right. So would you agree that it is practical and easy to go out and defend several acres of crops that you're trying to feed against like thousands of insects? Like, do you think that's practical?
Thousands? I would say millions.
No, I'm using a specific amount of land that might be relevant to you specifically, and it's not millions on a couple acres. It's probably hundreds of thousands, perhaps during the season. For you specifically, not everybody else. For you specifically.
If I was a farmer, I would say yes. If I wasn't a farmer, I would say no.
Practical for you to go out and defend your crops against hundreds of thousands of insects without having to potentially harm them?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so there again is an inconsistency in your logic, right? We can apply the escalation of force a lot easier to somebody that might have a disability that's hungry and trying to eat food than defending your livelihood, your food sources, your survival against hundreds of thousands of insects.
Not necessarily.
No, it is necessarily.
It's not inconsistent because I already
It's extremely inconsistent. Because you've already acknowledged that one is practical and one is less practical. You've acknowledged that the escalation of force principle can easily be applied to one versus the other. And then you're saying that one's still somehow like hypocritical. You're being extremely inconsistent.
I never said it was hypocritical. I already suggested, right? Yes, I recognize it's not practical as possible, right? But here's the thing. I'm not giving these insects rights. And also, I already suggested that why don't you self-sufficient in homegrown vegetables?
Can I ask you, what specific rights do you think we're like expressing?
Not to harm them.
Not to exploit them, not to commodify them, right? Harm is inevitable. I think everybody on the panel has acknowledged that harm's inevitable.
Well, exploitation is a form of harm, right?
Yeah, exploitation is a form of unnecessary harm for most people. Again, intentions, right? You agreed that intentions matter.
It's not a straw man.
You agreed intentions matter, but now you're removing the application of intentions
I
in this
told you,
specific
if the
instance.
intention if the intention, right, of these unaliving these animals were to just for funsies, I would agree that yeah, it's immoral and they should stop.
So that's exactly what it is for
But
most
it's
people,
not
right?
what's happening, right?
That's
They're
exactly
unaliving
what it
these
is for most people.
animals. They're
Most people
unaliving
have
these animals.
options, but they prefer bacon. Like that's literally why most people are eating animals.
Wait, are the only people that have access to supermarkets are they the only ones like they're feeding with meat that these
Did
animals?
you hear what I specifically said? Did you hear what I said? Most people have access to other options. I'm referring to those people, including yourself.
Well, these industries are not. I mean, these industries are global, so I would
It
say
doesn't matter. I'm talking about your own individual actions.
with veganism is then you're just targeting specific
No, you're
people.
sitting there saying
It's
that's like,
simple.
you're sitting there like questioning whether it's necessary or not and saying that people aren't doing it for fun. Most people are doing it because they enjoy the taste of a burger or bacon. Like that's what it comes down to.
No, I would say they're doing it because people need to eat, right?
No, you can say that, but people have options and that removes the necessity. So yes, everybody is doing it.
Does everyone have an option?
Most people do, yes. If you have access to a grocery store, you do.
So most people have access to a grocery store. Can you prove that?
Yes, the heavily like most people live in heavily populated population centers, right? Cities, metropolises, like across the planet. So yes, most people do have access, and in fact, the poorest countries that don't have access generally rely heavier on plants.
Yeah. So can you give me a source on that?
Sure, you can follow me, and I will give you the source of data afterwards. So again, if it's not necessary for most people to do you agree that people should stop consuming animals?
No,
Why not? So you agree harming for pleasure is okay then?
I never said harming for pleasure is okay.
But that's what you're implying.
That's not what I'm implying.
That's exactly what you're implying.
I don't think it's.
You're here in bad faith.
believe
I
it's
don't even
rude.
think you have a logical argument because you can't even be consistent
If
in
I can't
anything
stop,
that you
how are you going to keep? I'm going to ask me a question and then continue to interrupt as I
because you
answer the
keep
question.
inconsistently answering it or deflecting from it, and I'm trying to keep you on the topic.
I consistently answer it and then now I'm deflecting. What sense does that make, bro?
What have you consistently answered?
Sply, you haven't even said like what justifies you paying for another animal to go through that system. Your justification.
My justification.
Yeah.
These sentient animals don't deserve rights.
Why?
So you're a sentient animal. You don't deserve rights.
Non-human animals.
You are
Everything
an animal.
humans.
You are
only
biologically
humans.
classed as a primate, right?
Did I say humans are not animals?
You said animals don't deserve rights.
It was in reference to non-human animals. And humans are sapient, not sentient.
Can you say the difference though? That
Humans
what
are
makes
sentient.
it okay to do that to them? Oh, sorry, lady, I didn't see you pop in.
These animals, right, as we recognize, they cannot be rationalized with. They don't give some sort of moral justice.
So then it is okay to harm disabled people for attacking your food then to you?
Well, no, because they're humans. I already said this
Yeah, but they might not have the capability of rationalizing.
I don't care. We're inherently
So
capable.
there's another inconsistency in your logic.
It's not inconsistent if we're inherently
Extremely inconsistent.
Hold on, Ozark. Over thousands of years, have we been capable of giving moral judgments and higher levels of understanding over thousands of years?
How is that relevant to right now?
No. Answer the question. Have we been able
How
to
is that relevant to right now? And I will answer it.
You ask me questions, right? You'll get to the point.
If you can answer how it's relevant to right now and what we do, I will answer.
I already gave you the question. Why are you deflecting?
How is it relevant to the conversation right now?
Relevant to this conversation because humans have consistently been able to demonstrate that we're inherently capable of sapience, higher levels of understanding and moral judgments. So just because a disabled person or children don't display this yet, we can not logically determine that it's because of internal or external factors that limits us of doing so. Not because, they'll never have the capability and therefore they're the norm and not the exception. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
So why does that
animals have
justify
never displayed
unnecessarily harming other sentient beings for pleasure then?
I never said for pleasure.
Well, that's exactly what people are doing and why they're doing it.
Okay,
and you
then
keep avoiding that.
I'm not avoiding it. I already said that if they're doing. I already said if they're doing it. I already said if they're doing it for funsies, we should stop them. However, that is not
well,
what's happening.
Most people should stop consuming animals. Then, according to your logic,
I would because I told you.
Then you're inconsistent because most people are doing it because they enjoy the taste of animals.
No, I'm pretty sure they're doing it so that people can eat.
No, people are doing it because they enjoy the taste of animals. People have options.
Okay, just because people have options, right? That doesn't mean like, oh, we're just going to stop because they have options. You don't know the kind of.
So they're doing it because they want to, or in essence, for funsies.
They're not doing it for
You're inconsistent, dude.
You're just guilt tripping yourself, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not guilt tripping anybody. I'm pointing out your extreme inconsistent logic here.
Sorry, I just got really, really tired of his deflection. He could not answer for himself anything. He literally
okay, I just wanted to shut him down.
People. Yeah,
I wanted to do exactly
I just got so bored of him though.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I was just trying to do to him exactly what he was trying to do to you, but actually use logic instead of trying to overwhelm with bullshit. So
yeah.
Thanks for letting me come up and do it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking him on. I was already pretty tired of him, so.
And Sly, you have been on many vegan lives before. I recognize your voice. You always have bad faith arguments.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.